Welcome to today's Daily Walk in Wisdom. We're in Song of Songs, the Song of Love. We're all about wisdom. The wisdom of love, the highest wisdom of all. And the king has been describing the beauty of his bride, the Shulamite. We're in chapter 7, and we're reading verse 3 to 5. I think it's verse 3 where it begins. He says, "Your neck is like a tower of ivory, and your eyes are like sparkling pools in Heshbon by the gate of Bath Rabbim. Your nose is as the tower of Lebanon, which looks towards Damascus, and your head is like Carmel, and the hair on your head is like purple. And the king is held captive by its tresses." So we've already had 5 aspects of the Shulamite's beauty. Here are the last 5. Through submission to the will and the ways of the king, the bride has made herself increasingly desirable. And so the king is just pointing out to her the aspects or the predominant features of her life wherein her beauty has captivated him. And he says that she has a neck that is as a tower of ivory. The neck refers to her will. Solomon's throne is made of ivory. So her will is yielded to the authority or the throne of the king, whereby her authority has begun to tower. When her neck was previously mentioned, it preceded the reference to her breasts, but now that order has been reversed, meaning that her authority has become the product of love and faith. It says her eyes are like sparkling pools of Heshbon. Twice before, the Shulamite's eyes were described as dove's eyes. Now they're like sparkling pools of Heshbon. Heshbon was a stronghold. It was the capital of Sihon that covered 2 mountains with a narrow entrance called the gates of Bath Rabbim, where 2 pools held water, the water supply for the stronghold. And the king of the Amorites fought against the Israelites there and was defeated. Therefore, her eyes are now a vision of victory that overcomes the strongholds of the enemy. Bath Rabbim means the daughters of a multitude. And this tells us that the bride, though many, is also one. So this is our unity and our multiplicity, the one and the many. When the church gets it together and becomes one, then people see the fullness of the stature of Christ. That's what we're being told here in this story of the Shulamite. It says her nose is as the tower of Lebanon. A perfumer is referred to as a nose. He has spent his life learning to discern the various ingredients required to make a fragrance enchanting. Now, her nose has never before been mentioned. For the first time, we see a new aspect of the king's ministry in her life, and that's discernment. Discernment is a gift for the mature. And that her nose is called a tower is symbolic of her authority. So discernment is necessary for anyone who holds the offices of authority in the church. Leviticus states, having a flat nose disqualifies a man from the priesthood, because if the olfactory system was defective, then the priest couldn't fulfill his ministry. He would need it for being able to put the spices and the perfumes together for burning of the incense. You need it for all kinds of things. It speaks, when your nose is flat, it speaks of a lack of spiritual perception. So the Shulamite's nose is not flat, it's like a tower. Now it can be said of a detective that he has a nose for such things. nose for sniffing out somebody who's a little corrupt. Now, she has a discerning nose. The Shulamite has a nose for the things that are necessary in ministry, and her nose looks towards Damascus, we're told. Damascus means salvation. So discernment is not merely the captivity, or the capacity, to sniff out the enemy. It primarily discerns the paths of righteousness. And then it says that she has a head like Carmel, not a head like a camel, but a head like Carmel. So the bride now has her mind aligned with the king's. No longer is there a difference in her thinking. Carmel means fruitful place. The mind is the area of creativity and hence fruitfulness. The unregenerate have a reprobate mind, and their thoughts are evil continually, but the saints wear the helmet of salvation and have the mind of Christ. And all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge hid in him are available to us. It was on Mount Carmel that Elijah called for Israel to choose God's way. By daily progressive renewing of the mind and continually choosing the king's way, the bride is abounding in fruitfulness. Yes. Then it says finally that her hair is like purple. Purple is the color of royalty. So the Shulamite gives herself unreservedly to the king, and in so doing she receives all the privileges and throne rights of royalty. It's her hair that is purple. She receives her royalty rights from her covering. Hair also relates to consecration. Now remember Samson's Nazirite vow. It was a vow of consecration. It gave him strength and rulership. He was the judge for Israel for many years, though he had areas of weakness in his life, to be true. Nevertheless, his Nazirite vow brought him to a place where he was able to rule over Israel for many years. Now, it is the consecration of the Shulamite that holds the king captive in her tresses, so that her desire becomes his desire. My. She has conquered his heart by yielding to him. How about that? And this is exactly what takes place in our relationship with Jesus. It is not just God loving you because of the love that he has within him that is unrestrained, that is unconditional. It's not just his unconditional love that we receive, but as we grow in our relationship with him and become more beautiful, so the love that we have and that we share with God, the love that we create within him is that romantic captivation, a spiritual romantic captivation wherein we are captivating to him. And he is caught up with our tresses, our purple tresses. Yes. And what this means is that we have the ability to be able to communicate with God at a level of intimacy that is direct and that is true and that is sure and that is capable of having God involved in all of our moving, our lifestyle, our worship, our church life and our business life and everything that we're involved in, that God loves to be there with us, being part of our lives. He just loves you. He just loves you. And the closer you grow to him, the more he loves you. Completely. You've captured him. How wonderful is that? God bless you. We'll see you soon for more riches out of the Song of Songs.